So you're a B1 owner and you're interested in swapping your stepper motor around. It has no effect with the machine. It's not going to make it cut any better, but it's really just a video for me to show Longer a simple way that they can make their machine look better. It's not going to make it cut any better. It does that already, as you know. But while I was doing this project, I also found an issue with my belt. I had to scratch my head to overcome this problem because my belt was super loose. Now it's reasonably tight and I'm more than happy with the outcome. I'm no longer going to move the limit switch around because I'm working on my fine focus system and it is up and running. I've got my first cut done for that, and I'm going to leave the limit switch for now on the front of the machine because it's much easier to have the limit switch on the front than the back. My system is still going to work because the bracket is still going to mount on the stepper motor. So it is working and it does work really well. I just need a few tweaks to the design. Going to try and cut it out of plywood as well as MDF just to see the differences. But a video will come when I'm back from my annual holiday.
Hello and welcome to my video. If you're new here, you are very welcome, and if you're a returning viewer, many thanks for your continued support. Okay, B1 Longer. I think this looks a bit messy. I've been on to Longer to ask them whether they, when they're assembling this, can they turn this stepper motor 180 degrees and put the limit switch on the back. I know that the limit switch, I'm going to move this carriage across very slowly, and I'm moving that very slowly so I don't back voltage into the controller, because as you're moving this carriage, you're moving the stepper motor, and that stepper motor is a generator when the power's off. As you can see, the limit switches hits that carriage at the moment, so I know if I turn this round, I'm gonna, and I want to move that to the other side, I'm gonna have to make some form of bracket to allow the limit switch to contact that. But that's what I'm doing this afternoon. So I'm going to reset, gonna undo this, which is a bit tricky because I know I'll show you. If you're interested, continue watching. I'll show you exactly what I'm going to do. So to get the stepper motor out, you need to remove these 4 bolts, and then that will allow this stepper motor and its bracket to come out. Now this arrangement is used to tighten the tension of the belt, and that is particularly loose. Now I have been playing with, if you can see that, that is particularly loose. So I have been playing with this already to see how easy it was to do this modification. Anyway, let me see whether I can get any adjustment on that belt, because I did not realise it was, you can see this one is what I would say is okay, but that one is particularly loose. Okay, I loosened those 4 bolts, and you can see I also put washers on these. Yours will not have washers on. A little bit more involved than I first thought. I need to take these 4 bolts out, which will release this carriage plate, which will allow me to get into the belt, and then I can sort out this stepper motor. But this belt I would like to have slightly tighter, but I have no more adjustment on it. So let's see what happens when we take these bolts out. By removing those 4 bolts, you can pull that down now to release the belts. That's what I'm going to do. Need to put the camera down because I need 2 hands. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at this stepper motor, because 2 of the bolts are hidden, so let me investigate that. So what I'm thinking now is these 4 bolts that you use to adjust the tension on the belt, if I take them out, I'm hoping the stepper motor will drop out, then we can have a look at the bracket. Yep, that was nice and easy. Those 4 bolts allowed the stepper motor to drop out. Now I have looked at whether the 4 slots we have here, whether they can be elongated to the right, but you can't, because the stepper motor will hit these bolts, or hit these bolts here. So the only way to adjust the belt tension anymore is to have a look at that arrangement, but let me get the stepper motor changed round first. So underneath the bracket you do get a rubber gasket, so that's probably for vibration sound isolation. I did take my gear off because I want to count the teeth as well, but I marked it on the shaft. I marked it on the shaft where the top of that is, so I can get it back in the same place. For anyone who's interested, there's 20 teeth on that gear, so let me reassemble that and put it back in. So I hope you can see, with the stepper motor pushed all the way to the right, so in its so with the stepper motor pushed all the way to the right, you can see on that belt there's a good 4mm of space. Now I want to try and get rid of that, so I'm going to have to think of a way to either use a cable tie or take this brass crimp off and move it. So what I've got to try and do, I've got to try and shorten the belt, which either means trying to open this brass clamp and move it over to the left, or use a cable tie, and I don't think a cable tie is going to work. So I'm going to try and take that crimp off and then move it back a bit. So this is what I came up with. I have crimped over an 8mm section of aluminium because I couldn't get that brass crimp off, so I've added that on. Now you can see that the belt will lay in there nicely, and the stepper motor is over to the right. So now I've got a chance of putting some tension on the belt. I've had to use a thin piece of aluminium plate, and I've wrapped that over the belt, and that is 8mm wide. So that will allow me now to adjust the belt tension. So the effort was worth it. Now this is the tension I've got on the belt, which is much better than what it was without the 8mm spacer. So you can just see my 8mm spacer down there. So by turning the stepper motor around 180 degrees, it makes it look a lot cleaner. Now I've just got to sort out how to move the limit switch and make a bracket for that.
I am going to send details on to Longer just to see whether the belts actually need shortening in their production runs. Anyway, if you've got the B1 Longer and you've managed to watch this video to the end, can you just drop a comment below this video of where your stepper motor is, i.e. do you think it's as far over to the gantry rails as it will go, or can you see some slot gap underneath the heads of your cap head hex screws? That would be very helpful for both me and Longer. Anyway, that's Andy as ever, wishing you a great afternoon. Continue to make that happy safe smoke, and perhaps you'll join me in my next video. Thank you for making it to the end of my videos, much appreciated. If you like what I'm doing and I've earned your trust and respect, perhaps you would consider subscribing. If you leave a comment, I will answer them as well, and if you give me a thumbs up, it will put a smile on my face. Perhaps you would like some of the videos popping up now. See you in the next one.